By the time the police entered the chat, the victim was already in the hospital with a bruised eye and a broken phone. She told police her boyfriend beat her and stopped her from calling for help. But there was a problem. She had a knife and he had the camera rolling. That footage could have made her look like the aggressor until she told police what happened before he hit record.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that jackass Bray.
Before the hospital, the arrest, and the court filings, there was an apartment and a couple who had been together for 3 years. And like many couples, according to the paperwork, money was becoming a problem. Wordley and his girlfriend were reportedly struggling to pay the rent. Eviction was looming. She told investigators Wordley, who was known to dabble in Molly from time to time, was stressed out about it. Then came the argument, and according to her account, Wordley became irate and began insulting her. Then it turned physical. She told police he dragged her by her ponytail, choked her with both hands until both her feet were off the floor. She couldn't breathe. Then he kicked her in her ribs after he knocked her to the floor, punched her, and stopped her from calling for help. But the strangest part wasn't what she said Wordley did to her. It was what she alleges he did to himself. According to her, an enraged Wordley started violently scratching his own body, punching himself in the mouth, drawing his own blood. And there was something else happening in that room. He was recording. During the melee, she was able to get to the kitchen and grab one of the kitchen knives. Standing there with the knife, with abrasions around her neck and an actively swelling eye, she tells him not to come any closer. That's when Wordley allegedly did something that would change what this scene could look like to anyone seeing only part of it. He took out his phone, he turned on the camera, and he started recording her. A woman with a knife, a man with injuries, a camera capturing whatever came next. It could have looked like a very different story. Now imagine walking into that room at exactly that moment. A woman holding a knife, a man recording her. Without knowing what allegedly happened 5 minutes before, that picture could tell its own story. But according to his girlfriend, the violence had already happened. With knife in hand, she was able to safely make it to the bathroom to look at her injuries. Now trying to defuse the situation so that she would not call the police on him again, Wordley even went to go get ice for her eye. That's when she tried to leave, seeing an opportunity. And just like every other horror movie, that's when the monster appeared right behind her. He allegedly punched her and slammed her onto the bed. So she tried reaching for her iPhone, not to record, but to use its emergency feature. That's when, according to her, Wordley grabbed the phone and broke it. And then she says the scene became even stranger. He began scratching himself violently across his torso, then punching himself in the mouth. Hard enough to cause an injury. Now the room contained something it hadn't before. Injuries on him. And if her allegations are true, that matters because the camera was already rolling. The person she accused of attacking her could now appear injured too. Eventually she got out, and by the time law enforcement became involved, she was already being treated at a local hospital. The apartment was behind her, but the story created inside of it was about to become the next court case. Now, once Wordley re-entered the criminal justice system, what allegedly happened inside that apartment became more than two competing stories. Now there was a record. Her allegations, her injuries, her broken phone, the knife, the recording, and Wordley's alleged injuries to himself. The state would have to prove the allegations. And Wordley, like every criminal defendant, is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty. But while that case was pending, Wordley ended up behind bars. And that's where this case went quiet. Then the phone rang. Now, Wordley was already in jail when prosecutors went back to court with another request. This was not another account of what allegedly happened inside the apartment. This was new. The state wanted his bond revoked, and they specifically asked the judge to restrict his telephone privileges. Why? New allegations in the state's motion cite his jail communications had become a problem while the case was still pending. His jail calls generated their own court filing. The state wasn't simply asking the judge to consider what Wordley allegedly did on the night his girlfriend ended up in the hospital. No, they were asking the court to intervene because of what they alleged he was doing afterward. While he was sitting in a Broward County jail on a $30,000 bond, Wordley violated the no victim contact order, and the victim reported that he had been calling her in an attempt to get her to write a waiver of prosecution, which is a sworn statement the victim signed stating they don't want to press charges or cooperate with the criminal case. Court docs reveal that out of 22 calls in a 4-week period, 13 of them were to her. And the state requested the jail calls that they say reveal a sustained and escalating course of conduct by the defendant to get her to complete a waiver of prosecution so that he would be able to be released from custody and move back to live with her. Oh, she better not. It would be at this point, I would hope she would be far, far away and not move back in with him. This case is strange. Go back to the apartment one last time. According to the girlfriend, Wordley allegedly attacked her. She grabbed a knife to defend herself. He started recording. She says he scratched himself, punched himself in the mouth. One phone sat at the center of a scene capable of producing 2 different versions of what happened. Then, Wordley went to jail. Another phone entered the story. This time, whatever prosecutors say happened on those calls didn't stay on the phone. It ended up on paper, in a motion, in the court file. And the allegations against Wordley remain allegations, and the criminal case will determine what the state can actually prove, but there's almost perfect symmetry buried in this docket. One phone was there when the story began. Another phone brought the story back before the judge. And somewhere between those 2 phones, a private fight inside an apartment became a public court record. As of right now, Wordley is still in custody, and the case is pending trial, unless a plea deal can be reached. I guess we'll just have to continue to watch the docket.